everybody, I'm Katie from Diabeteric, and today I want to talk about when people say mean things. Okay, the world is full of mean people, unfortunately. There always has been mean people, and there always will be mean people. Hopefully you don't have too much interaction with mean people, but sometimes, things are said. So this is hopefully going to give you a different perspective about two different types of situations when people can say mean things. Okay, so we're going to look at two different groups of people. One group of people consisting of strangers or people you don't know very well. In other words, people that don't really matter in your life. And then people that really matter in your life, your friends, your family, your loved ones. So let's start with the former and talk about people who you don't really know. Maybe they're complete strangers. Maybe you have some sort of interaction with them at work or at school, but you're not really friends with them. Okay, so when somebody says something mean to you, just don't give a shit about that. I know it's hard. I was a people pleaser for a long time. You have to grow a thick skin. But these people don't know you, so their opinion of you should not really matter. It should not affect your life. Now, like I said, that's a thing that you have to work on, to develop, to be able to let that stuff go. But once you do, it's a very liberating thing to not really care what a stranger might think about you. They don't know your story, what your situation is, the struggles you've been through, so who cares what their opinion is of you? Do you think they care about what your opinion is of them? And in reality, they probably have way more problems than you do to be attacking you or saying mean things to you when they don't even know you. So that being said, work on not caring about what some stranger might say to you that might be mean. Develop a tougher skin and just don't give a shit about that. Okay, now the other group of people, the ones that, hearing these hard words from them it's more hurtful because it's coming from somebody we love, whether it be a sibling or, I wouldn't think parents would talk to their children in mean ways, but it could happen, or children to their parents, or, our partners. Our friends, they can all have some frustrations where they say something that's really hurtful to us. So I'm going to give you an example because the inspiration behind this video came from a post that I was reading on social media, and I read, posts like this quite a bit, but this specific one was a person who said that their partner had told them that they were a burden and that they were feeling really down and depressed because of that comment and how much that hurt them. So I want you to look at it in two different ways, because those, unlike the former, those we don't want to just, it's hard not to absorb that. It's hard not to be affected by that. So first I want you first, guys, all to realize that things in life are burdensome. There's a lot of things that we care about a lot that can be a burden. I mean, I know I'm going to get some slack for this, but children can be a burden. Pets can be a burden. Even, little things. Our children, we love them. Our pets, we love them. And even though at times it's like, I wish I didn't have to deal with finding a dog sitter for my dog when I go on vacation, or, taking my children to all their different events. Sometimes you're like, It does not mean that we love those things any less. It just means that we might feel some frustration at times. But the word burden does have a very negative connotation with it. So I really want you to think about that and do some self-reflection. Are you being a burden? If you're putting a lot of your diabetic responsibility on somebody else, whereas every time you have a low blood sugar, they have to take care of you. And I'm not talking about an extreme low blood sugar. I'm just talking about a slight low blood sugar, and you panic and you can't deal with it and they have to take over? Are you remembering to test your blood sugar on your own? Are you remembering to take your insulin before you eat? Or do you need a constant reminder? If so, the truth is you might be being a little bit of a burden to that person who's in your life. If so, you do that self-reflection and you find out a way to be less of a burden, because as much as those words can hurt, depending on the situation, they can have a little bit of truth in them. And so, can you improve the situation? The second thing you could do is, in a different moment, because these hurtful words are usually said in a moment of frustration or anger or despair. And so after that moment has passed, maybe you want to address the person that has talked to you like that and ask them, in what ways can I help so I am less of a burden to you? And maybe they say, oh, no, I was just mad. Okay, but seriously, what can I do to help that situation so that you feel less of that? Because maybe there are things you can do to improve the situation. And then the third thing to think about is, we say mean things. I mean, I say mean things. In the heat of an argument or frustration with my partner, I've said some really mean things. And of course I don't mean them. Of course I love my partner with everything I have. And I feel bad after I say certain things like, well, I'm not going to go into that now. I don't want to remind myself what I've said that's been bad. But we all know that we could say mean things in an argument and in that heat of the moment. So maybe what that person has said has no true meaning, or maybe it does. So do that self-reflection, address them on how you could improve that situation or that feeling for them. And, third, maybe it's just something you need to forget about. But, we have to remember that if we get frustrated with our diabetes, which I know all of you do, I've yet to ever hear from somebody who's not been frustrated with their diabetes. Why can't our partner or our friends or our loved ones be frustrated with our diabetes? We didn't choose to be diabetic, so that's why I think we take these statements so personally. But they didn't really choose to fall in love with us or be born as a sibling to us, or, I mean, if they're a friend, they've chosen to be our friend, but, the chances are they didn't choose to be highly involved with a person who has a chronic disease. So give them the liberty to feel that frustration from time to time, because if you feel it, why should they not be allowed to feel it too? But, words do hurt, and being called a burden is not nice. But a silver lining, which my partner reminds me of all the time, I mean, he calls me a pain in the ass always, whether it relates to my diabetes or just my personality. But he says, ugh, you're such a pain in the ass. But if you're that much of a pain in the ass and I'm still with you, it shows how much I love you. So remember that thought too. If you are being a burden and they're still right by your side, it does show something very valuable. It shows that they really, really do love you. So keep that in mind. Like the video if you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel, and think positive, be diabeteric, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.